The Immigration Clinic at UNLV has a long list of people waiting to get help with things like fighting deportation.
That wait time could become longer without more funding to help keep that free clinic going. And Fox 5's Shauna Kalafi has more from their community advocacy office downtown.
UNLV's Immigration Clinic has another office on the law school campus. They opened this community advocacy center last year to help accommodate the growing need for their services. But now what they really need is more funding from the state. For people hoping to make America home, the process can be complicated and costly. That's why UNLV's Immigration Clinic offers free services to people navigating the process and pro bono representation for those fighting deportation cases.
You're not entitled to an attorney if you can't afford one, unlike criminal court. And to navigate court in general is difficult by yourself, but especially immigration court because it's so complex.
In 2022, the Immigration Clinic defended more than 200 clients facing deportation and helped over 60 people renew DACA permits. A third of their clients were children as young as 3 years old. And with a fast-growing immigrant population in Nevada, demand for the clinic's services is growing too.
Especially here in Clark County. Just this year, we've had over 100 people call from detention needing representation. We've had over 30 people call for unaccompanied children representation, and that's on top of a wait list that we've already had.
To keep these services going and shorten the wait list, the Immigration Clinic is asking for more funding from the state through a bill that would grant the clinic $1 million over the next 2 years, which they'd use to hire another attorney and support their long list of clients. Clients like William Rosales, who came to Nevada from El Salvador when he was only 13.
He was the very first Justice AmeriCorps client, our very first unaccompanied child client. And the total length of that case was 8 years.
Now at 23, William has finally reached residency status, with advocates from the Immigration Clinic by his side throughout the process.
December 23rd, 2022. Yeah.
You'll remember that day forever?
Yeah, I remember that day. I appreciate all the help that they did throughout all these years. And then they come with me on my heart every single time.
And if that bill is passed, it would go into effect this July 1st, allocating $1 million over the next 2 years for the Immigration Clinic. Reporting live, I'm Shauna Kalafi, Fox 5 News, Local, Las Vegas.